So the Path of the Wren's second question, and I thought there were more questions, but this one is just sort of like a few questions about the same topic. And the question is, what is your opinion on pagan leadership? Do you think that there should be some sort of central authority or some sort of recognized authority for the various branches of paganism? What does it take to be a pagan leader? Oh man. So as someone who has been a integral part. I was a vice president, I was a PR person, I was a president and sort of a leader within at some point of a pagan organization through a university, and then through another online pagan organization after university for 2.5 years about. This is like a really big, huge topic, and I'm going to try to cover like just a few bullet points of it as quickly as I can. The first thing is, so my opinion on pagan leadership, I can't even, like, there's just so much to say about burnout and rates that people are sticking with it and all the craziness that comes with that. Do you think there should be some sort of central authority? Absolutely not. That is a horrible idea on so many levels. I think that is what most pagans are trying to get away from. I think that putting in rules and dogma on a word so fluid and so broad as paganism is just a terrifying thought. It won't work. People won't accept it. It's not necessary. It's certainly, like, there is no reason to try to unify all pagans under some authority, because it's not like we have laws that we follow, or rules that we follow. There is really no reason to do that. So that's a hard and resounding no. And if you've ever been in pagan leadership, you could understand why I find that just so, that's hard. Some sort of recognized authority for the various branches of paganism, again, a huge and resounding no. Even if we're saying, okay, like, we're gonna have a president, vice president, PR person, and treasurer for the comedics, and and for the, it wouldn't ever work, and I just don't think that it's necessary, and I think maybe I should have been a little more clear about what I meant by pagan leadership. I'm not talking about the ruler or the founder. I'm talking about people who are providing safe spaces for small groups together of like-minded people. I'm talking about potlucks. I'm talking about people who are running chats, who are running online covens even, I suppose, although I really can't get into covens because I'm not really familiar with them that much. People who are putting themselves forward as a resource, perhaps. So I guess maybe I needed to add a little more definition to what my experience with it was. And what does it take to be a pagan leader? It takes a lot of things. It takes an immense amount of patience and understanding. It takes someone who is not, even though they want to create a better community, that they are okay with the outcome not being so great. You can't be able to, if you get your feelings hurt or you get offended by every little thing that is said in the offline pagan community, you probably will not succeed as a leader of a diverse group of people, because we get this impression that all pagans are young, liberal, they voted for Obama, they are against gun laws, they're for choice, for abortions, and all this other stuff. That's just not how the pagan community is. There are tons of people who are openly racist, who do not want to listen nor give a shit about your thoughts on it. There are people who are much older, there are people who are disabled, who just have needs that young people and people who are able-bodied just cannot address. There are people who still want to be part of the Confederate South. There are people who own and use guns regularly. There are people who believe that women belong in the kitchen. And you cannot go into pagan leadership thinking that you are going to homogenize the pagan community into what you think it should be, because ultimately, and while some of those things are wrong, like obviously racism is wrong, sexism is wrong, there are rights that people have in the United States that you cannot take away from them because you're uncomfortable with them, such as the right to bear arms, such as the right to, voice their opinions about things that you may not particularly enjoy. And so it's really hard when I see, like, especially people from my college, and that's what I think about is these younger people who wanted to start a pagan fellowship after we left, and they contacted me, and they were asking me all these questions about what did it take, how do you set the rules, how do you set the ground rules, and how do you dole out punishment for people who don't have the same ideals that you do. And I essentially told them that if that's the sort of group that they want to run, that they should probably just not do it at all, because it's not going to be successful. The pagan umbrella covers so many people from so many walks of life, from so many situations, from, extreme wealth to extreme poverty, from, America to all kinds of third world countries where it is still a punishable by death offense to be openly pagan. And I feel like if you want to even be a leader of a potluck or a small chat group or something, you need to have an infinite amount of patience and the ability to be very diplomatic and to deal with situations on a basis of, okay, is this truly an issue? Is this something where other members are feeling like they can't come to an event because this person is expressing opinions very loudly that are offensive, that are rude, or is this just me getting touchy about something? And I just see so much of the latter that I am not surprised that a lot of places shut down very quickly. You also need to be very willing to do everything by yourself, and to not, if you're starting a group, you should never expect that more people will join that group and will start helping you, because that's really rarely happens. People like me who have run groups in the past, I am burnt out. I did it for a number of years. I'm done doing it. I don't want to lead a group. I do not want to be responsible for rituals. I do not want to be responsible for hosting stuff. I'm very touchy about my personal space and about sharing any sort of really deeply spiritual side of myself with a group of people that I am not familiar with. So I think a lot of people are like me. If you are someone who has been in paganism for a while, who has tried the whole running a group thing, people will come to you and say, please be a part of my group. I want you to help me with this stuff. And it's really sad to have to say, hell no, I am not running your group. I am not taking on responsibility. I'll give you $15 for the potluck, but I'm not organizing this stuff. It's not something that I want right now. So, yeah, just going in it with expecting things to go well, but definitely being prepared for the worst to happen. Being a pagan leader is a level of patience and tolerance and civility that I just don't have anymore, and I don't think a lot of people have. So that's why there's such a high turnover rate of pagan organizations, and that sucks. But that's just the way it works. So. I don't know, I hope that was helpful to you. I feel like it was really negative, but that's the honest truth from what my experiences have been.